Hey everyone, how are you doing? I wanted to talk a little bit about there is no greater pain than that of a mother hurting for her child. I'm sure those who have children can probably relate. Think about when your child for the first time maybe skinned their knee, or even when they were first walking and you decided they were sturdy enough to let their hand go and let them walk by themselves and they fall. I know those sound silly when you think about it, but if you're first time mom and those happen, they're not that silly at the moment. There's a connection. I hear they talk nowadays. There's the fourth trimester of pregnancy. You go through the three that we are all familiar with, and the fourth is when you have the baby and you get used to your baby and your baby gets used to you, and on and on and on, and you have that feeling that I doubt there's a perfect mother there that just knows every cry and what it means and this and that and the other thing. Even with being a stay-at-home mom for the entire life of my children, I could pretty much, tell. You could definitely tell when children too, but babies are hungry. They have that little, especially when they're nursing, they have that mouth movement with their tongue going in and out all the time. Maybe bottle-fed babies do that too. I don't know. But you could tell. You can usually tell when they're sleepy. I think pretty much there's a universal, at least when kids become toddlers for sure, there's a universal motion or motions that you can tell. I can, even when I watch videos of vloggers who have children, and sometimes they don't even know. Maybe they're third or fourth kid, and I'm like thinking, that child is tired, just put them to bed. They're overtired, they're tired, whatever. But as a mom, and if there's any of you dads out there that act as a mom, I'm talking about you too, so forgive me if you feel like I'm not including you, if there are any, but I think my algorithm says right now I only have women on my channel. Then when your child, gets bigger and you have aspirations and dreams for them, and sorry about my thumb, and I think most parents want the best for their children better than they had. I know I do. That's why I was a stay-at-home mom, and still am, because I had to come home as a latchkey child. It was horrible. Oh my gosh, I dreaded. We live in a huge, huge house in the city. And I had to come home alone. I was left alone. I was 4, turning 5 years old, alone. Totally alone in a big, huge house in the city. Well, now that area is an area you wouldn't want to be in the dark in. But can you imagine? That's not even heard of nowadays. But there's just something about a mother's love for her child, and especially when your child is hurting. I can't even put it into words. And I've had a lot of experiences with that, with, things that my children went through, major, major, major issues with their health. And when you feel so helpless, it's such an awful, gut-wrenching, nauseating, diarrhea-inducing, stomach upset, heart palpitation, awful kind of feeling when you feel helpless, because you know what? Mommies are supposed to make it all better. I don't think it's written in any kind of handbook. I really doubt it. But it's inside of us women. I'm sure there are some women that, men would say their spouses, girlfriends, partners, whatever you call them, may not have that innate ability, and maybe they don't. I think it's because we carry those children inside of us, and nobody else. You can't. I think we're lucky. I'm glad I'm a woman as much as the pain is killing me now, but I'm glad I get to feel that human life inside of me, that feeling that, someone could touch the outside of your stomach and feel those little kicks, but you're the only one who can really feel them. There's no way they're the same on the outside as they are inside, at least not for me. But it's just something about growing a life, nourishing a life, helping to bring a life into this world. Nowadays, like I said, if it were me, I wouldn't. In the unsteady, unknown, whatever we don't know is going to happen, I personally would not. But the ones we have, we worry about. We worry, they get bigger. And they start getting friends, and you worry, will they be the right friends or the wrong friends? Will they make the right choice or the wrong choice? And the right choice may not be the easy choice. But you hope you've taught them along the way. You worry about all that, and then you worry, if they like some kind of sports and they're trying out, will they make the team, won't they? Oh, if they don't make it, the pain they'll feel, and you'll feel the pain. But those are parts of growing. Those are natural things that you would expect. Is my child doing the army crawl, or is my child crawling? Oh, why is your child not crawling? My child's crawling, or my child's not crawling, your child's crawling. I'm sure some of us has compared or wondered. I don't know. I think I always just looked at my kids as individuals. I don't know. I don't know where that wisdom came from. Because I'm sure it wasn't written in any book I have read. And every time I was pregnant, I still read books about pregnancy and babies and all. Because, all babies are different. All children are different. We try to protect them from harm. That's not always an easy job, but, you do the best you can do. I think nowadays it's just awful, even children just going to school. I can't imagine what parents go through worrying when you have to send off your child. Even let's take away what's happening in our world. The first time you send them off to school, I don't know if I shared this or not, every single one of my kids, when they went off to school on the bus for kindergarten, I followed that bus. Oh yes, I was that mom. Yes, I was. And then, as you had a kid perhaps still home, and they're with you. Yes, oh yes they are. And some of them maybe remember, there's my mom behind the bus, but I kept a distance so they wouldn't be embarrassed. But still, I had to make sure that they got there, because we protect our children. Because there's no worse pain than a mother's pain for her child. Once they're off at school, you wonder, are they okay? Are they being teased? Is someone taking their, well, nowadays they have full-day kindergarten, their food away, their lunch away, their snack away? Are they getting picked on in the playground? Did they fall off the swing, the slide, who knows, whatever? There's so many things, my gosh, we could worry about as mothers. Those are all the natural kind of things that you worry about, that you expect to, or perhaps you just go through life and you don't worry and you're lucky. Kudos to you, because ever since I became a mom, I became a worrier. But those are regular things, like, when the baby has to go get shots and they scream and scream and scream till they may turn blue and no noise comes out. Oh, I dreaded those kind of cries. But I figured we're at the doctor's office, what safer place to be, right? Well, nowadays it doesn't seem that way. From doctors from my first child to now, they're not all the same. They're totally different, which just leaves more hurt on us to see our child be hurt. But like I said, these are all normal kind of things, even a diaper rash. And knock on wood, I think only once, no, never my kids have had a diaper rash. I'm not bragging by any means, I just was fortunate. I have good skin, maybe they were blessed with my skin, I don't know. But even those kind of things, or, a lot of families, I remember hearing, oh, the kids have one earache after another, and they need ear tubes. I think that's what they're called. And, and or they get strep throat a lot, and, illnesses and all that, and especially nowadays what's going on. But those are just normal things. But when things go against the grain of what normally a mother shouldn't worry about her child. A mother shouldn't worry that a child's father just storms out of where he is. It's either, if someone's married and the father just takes off, storms out of the whole kit and caboodle, the kitchen sink and all. Or if a dad's visiting his child and all of a sudden, I don't know what happens, goes insane, goes nuts, loses his mind, I don't know. But just takes off and needs a break from his disabled child. What greater pain can there be in a mother's heart who's with this child 24/7, knowing the child, the little bit of time they get with their dad, that they enjoy it. Even if the dad fell asleep, the child enjoys it. But when a father says he needs a break from his child, and a good child, not a child who's there, oh, get me a computer, get me this, get me that. No. Yes, I'm talking about what happened to us, to Polly, to my son. His phone broke a long time ago. I asked his father if he could get it fixed, because I'm the stupid fool that begged him, which is something his father likes. He likes me to beg. I begged him to get a phone for him. I said, let him be a normal teenager, as he got our other two kids phones galore. Every time my daughter breaks her, what's the front of the phone called, the glass part, she gets a new phone. Right away, she gets it fixed. No waiting to go through insurance or whatever happens, or you got to send it back or this and that. It used to be you go in and you switch it out. No, she gets a new one right away. If she wants 2 pair of glasses, she gets them. My son is still waiting for his glasses that he needs to protect his eyes, to keep his one eye good. His daddy was going to bring us to pick him up. But yes, shortly after he went to the eye doctor, I went. So maybe he remembered that, I'd be picking up my glasses too. And maybe he wanted to hurt me. He wanted to make sure I didn't get my glasses. But he doesn't realize that he's hurting his son. I don't know. These are all just guesses. But to not make no contact, it's been almost 3 weeks, no contact with your child. What greater pain is there for a mother than to see a child sitting there waiting, wondering? Just last night, my son said, Mommy, I think someone's at the door. And it was like, I don't know what time in the evening. It wasn't late, like you'd be like, what the heck? And I know what he was thinking. He was thinking it might be his daddy. Because I got to talk to him that day, his dad. But he didn't ask about his son. He didn't ask how he's doing. He didn't ask to talk to him at all. Nope. It was just kind of legal mumble jumble that I had to talk to him, and he happened to answer. And for a minute there, his father seemed lucid, but then everything he said was a lie once again. A lie. I truly thought maybe after we had a little short talk, very short, because he always either walks away, swears, hangs up, whatever. But I foolishly believed his blah, 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 like Charlie Brown. So I thought maybe he grew a heart like the Grinch. Remember that heart that grew 3 times as big? And little Cindy, Sue, whatever, said something or other, I don't know. So I looked out the window, and I could clearly see that it was his vehicle that was passing by the driveway, stopping in my mailbox, looking at my mailbox for what? My junk mail. Junk mail comes here. Looking for coupons for his next fast food. I don't know. It was definitely him. I tried texting him a few times, and he finally answered back and said it must be a ghost. And I said how excited Polly was. He thought his father was at the door, and I don't know if he just heard the car. I did not hear, like, that, like nobody was knocking or ringing the bell or anything. But I thought maybe after that little short talk of, like I say, a moment of, I thought something clicked in his father's head that maybe he felt bad. Maybe he filled that list of food that Polly had sent him, I don't know, within that first week of chicken thighs, ground beef, can of manwich, some hamburger rolls for the manwich, some Hawaiian rolls, a loaf of bread, yogurt. He loves yogurt. These watermelon strawberry drinks that he loves to drink, grape juicy juice, orange juice. He loves orange juice. Some milk. Oh, some sauce. He likes those little smoked sausages. Swiss cheese. He loves Swiss cheese. Trying to think what else was on the list. Oh, that lunch meat he loves. I sent the pictures for him. I go on Insta Rip Up and they have pictures, and then I'll screenshot them, and then he can send them to his father. It's easier. Anything to make it easier for his daddy. But no, his daddy wasn't there at the door with the things. He didn't drop them at the door. I even looked. Polly at this point had, I said, John, it's not him. I don't think anyone was at the door. And I looked, there was nothing outside the door. He didn't drop off the groceries. I thought maybe he dropped off. I was able to get a word in edgewise. I says, could you drop off a gift card for the store so I could use it to do Instacart? Or in the grocery store, they have those Visa gift cards or MasterCard gift cards or Amazon gift card or a Walmart gift card or even a Children's Place gift card. Polly, this will be the last year he'll fit in those clothes. Or a Netflix gift card or a Disney gift card. Anything. Because he hasn't talked to his son and asked for his son. Nothing. He hasn't asked how he's doing. He knows he has a deadly heart problem and he's not asked. Why would he be mad at his son? You've all seen Polly. He's a sweet boy with a big heart. Early on, I was texting him and said if he could mail those gift cards. Because I get his syringes on Amazon. Polly likes to read. He always looks on Amazon. He saw some books he'd like to have. Or maybe a game. You get tired of playing the same few games. Nothing. I don't understand. There is no worse pain than seeing your child reach out to his dad and ask if he can buy him food. No, not gum, not candy, not junk. Food. Food, the substance of life. I was going to add on his Pediasures, but I didn't dare. Oh my gosh. Why would I? And he couldn't think that I would eat some of this food. Number one, he knows I would not eat my child's food, but he knows I can't. I literally cannot eat it. But still, he didn't bring it. What greater pain is there than that? I will tell you what the greater pain is. The greater pain, the pain that I never thought, everything I've gone through with our son being in the NICU so long and all his health problems and the latest thing, oops, my finger, I'm sorry. With his heart and always being on edge. But just knowing that if I had to call him before all this happened, he might answer a text if something went wrong. But now I've called him many times. Polly's heart got a little wonky there. It didn't go into bad rhythm, but right away, I called. Polly called his dad. Polly texted his dad, besides the list of food that he would like to have. He texts him. I don't understand. I'm literally numb and shaking all over. And then the worst pain. And you know, the men think they're hurting their other half, the woman, the mother of their child, but they're hurting their child. Our precious little boy, and he'll always be our little boy because he's the youngest. Our precious little boy left him a voicemail, and he said, Daddy, if you love me, you come back. You come back here and see me. Tearing my heart apart just hearing the message. I knew in the back of my head he probably wouldn't answer, but you know, a part of me thought, you know, if this is ripping at my heartstrings, that might have woken him up because he needs a break from his son. He can't possibly need a break from me. I have nothing to do with him. There's nothing between us. I don't sit in the same room when he's here. He has Polly to himself. But in this house, because that's the way it has to be. But wouldn't that make a father come to his senses? Probably. Unless there's a woman involved. His father claimed he never got that message. I don't believe it for 1 minute. Because first of all, I could tell on my phone, number one, if he got a text message. Obviously, when you're calling, you could see you're calling him. And you can see. Not see. I'm thinking of the thing where you FaceTime, whatever it's called. There you could see when it says they don't answer. But when you're calling, it says that, you know, leave a voicemail. Then he leaves a voicemail. And we know he left it, and we know it went through. And I can even tell if it was been, I was going to say the word read, but heard, but no, he said no. So does he have a hoe, an H-O hoe? Because only a hoe would do this. Who is he listening to? Who is in his head? I even asked him that, the few little words I got in, who is telling you to do this? Well, you can only imagine how it went from there. I said, don't you want to know how your child is? Don't you want to talk to him? Why are you not asking how he's doing? You left him. You scared him. You made a disaster of our home, where Polly and I live. He went out like a tornado. And we all know tornadoes cause destruction. Why did he do this? What happened? What snapped? Did he get a text message? What was it? Was his hoe calling him? Did his hoe find out he has a child? I don't know. I don't have no proof of this, but that's all I can think of. I've lived long enough in life to know. I've lived long enough. Because I know in my first marriage, after we separated, things, you know, at first they're not good, but then we could be together. Well, I could always be together. You do whatever for your children. Until the first one got some woman. No longer did he have interest in his kids. So I'm just going by experience. But not to call? Can he not sneak away? For goodness sakes, when he's here visiting, he would say, oh, I got to get some. Oh, I forgot something. I don't know, Home Depot or something. He runs off. Why did he get a text from that hoe? He could run off then to make sure he keeps his hoe happy. But he couldn't make an excuse to the hoe. I'm sorry if that word insults you, but that's the way I feel. He couldn't sneak off from the hoe to make a text. And he knows Polly sees my phone. It's always left out in the open, not like his father. He hides his phone all the time. If Polly's using his phone, he has to come with him wherever he is if he goes into the room. He can't just stand in the room next to me if his father went to the bathroom. But me, no, my phone's right out in the open. But he couldn't sneak away from his hoe. Just text, especially that message. I know he got that message. But what greater pain than to see your child waiting? And Polly's not one to like constantly say, did he call back? Did he, what did he, But you could see it in his eyes. A mother's love can see through their child's eyes, into their soul, into their heart. And the pain, when you can see that pain through your child's eyes into his heart and soul. Wondering, if I'm so sick over this because I'm sick because I see how our son doesn't understand, I don't either. But he doesn't ask, he doesn't question me. I think he'd be too afraid to question his father, because the only message he could think to leave was, Daddy, if you love me, come back and see me. How can that not, to the most person with no feelings, no blood in their veins, I'm not saying that's him, no heart in their body, how could that not touch someone, especially when your child is disabled with such a horrible heart problem on top of everything else? And then I gave it a while and I texted. I says, why aren't you asking about your son? Your son called you. Why don't you answer his calls? You think he'd say, well, I was busy, or have him call back? Nothing. Yes, he's winning. His father is winning. He's hurting me. He wants to hurt me. He would be happy if my demise came, for sure. He wants me to lose my house. Well, kudos, you're on your way. But our son, or has he figured out hurting our son would hurt me? I don't know. But bottom line, does he not realize, number one, he is hurting his child? As you all know, he took off in 2016, abandoned us for 3 months. Didn't know where he was, nothing. He took our other child with him too, just took her, changed her, controls her. Therefore, our son doesn't have a sissy anymore, because she's controlled by him. If that wasn't bad enough. But this, the way he left, and such an uproar over we don't know what, to cause such devastation in my house. And I even ran after him. I says, come back, explain to your son. You owe him an apology. What are you doing? I was like, I couldn't even comprehend in my head what was happening. But now it's almost 3 weeks and still, he has not texted, very few texts, and they were nothing good, bad, very bad, with a few words. That's it. And they weren't nice. Simply, how's Polly doing? Can I talk to Polly? For God's sakes, he's had enough time to even send him a letter. Or send those gift cards. To make sure that, oh geez, he's running low on his syringes. Here's that gift card to Amazon. Make sure you get those syringes. Make sure he orders some books for himself, or some cards. He loves basketball cards and baseball cards and football cards. Or even send him one of those stupid phones I've been trying to look for emergency phone. A prepay, pay-as-you-go, whatever. That would have been a nice gift. With, of course, the card so you can use it. No, nothing. He had enough time to send a store gift card. A children's place gift card. Polly needs a winter coat. He needs winter boots. Nothing. Almost 3 weeks gone, knowing we have snow in the forecast. Yes, it's in the forecast. I have a video I keep forgetting to put up, which shows the first frost. I'll try to remember. It's real short. We'll probably go to the shorts. But he knows. He's lived here enough. He knows what happens. It gets cold. But it's hot now. And he knows with his heart problem, he needs to have that, that portable air I have. It helps Polly too. He disconnected it. He knows I can't put it back. In fact, I asked him. That Thursday before that Sunday he left. He said he was on the phone. This was before he left. He says, I'll put it in on Friday. No problem. Sure, no problem. Apparently he was trying to impress that hoe, I guess. I don't know. I do not know. I have no proof, but usually if a man is not seeing his father, there's a hoe in the picture. Yes, there is no greater pain in a mother's heart to see his child hurting in such a way, where he saw his father leave in such a manner and not ask about him, and then deny getting the message. How could he do this? How could he do this to his son? Knowing all the appointments, there were 2 appointments after that Sunday in a lab. He had to bring us, and he even said, I'm going to write down my calendar in my phone, because his phone is his world, his father. It seems like he's jumbling women or something, the way he's constantly on it and hiding it all the time. Even when his son's around him, he turns it away. I don't turn my phone away. I have nothing to hide from my son. I don't know. I have no proof, but, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I don't know. Maybe as women, we can't see putting someone in front of our child. I guess men find it no problem. But he knows all the appointments we have. Before our son has his next birthday, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. He needs to find new doctors because of the age he's turning. They're kicking out, though they say they keep the kids up to 23, but for some reason, I don't know, because it's the thing that happened in this world. They have a waiting line of younger kids waiting to get in. That's what I've been told. I don't know. Sounds like hogwash to me. But we have many appointments to make besides the ones we had. His lab sample was to be brought long ago. It's long ago he should have brought it. It's no good anymore. But on the one call, he said, well, wait, I'll get it in a week. It was about a week. He never showed up. He was going to bring us to pick up Polly's glasses. He never showed up. I texted him, you didn't show up. It was on a Friday he was supposed to come. He didn't. I asked if he could do it, the lab on a Saturday that he didn't do the previous week. He didn't answer. Then he finally answered he'd bring us for the glasses on that Monday, which was the Monday after the Sunday. So it was on the 8th day. He didn't show up. No glasses. Polly needs those glasses to cover his good eye. It's very important, but no. I don't have a reliable car that I don't know won't break down. And we can't have that. I mean, the heat's obviously, y'all know it's bad for me, or the cold. But for Polly, too, with his heart problem, can you imagine if it started snowing? He doesn't have a snow jacket. What would he wear? No boots. My sneakers have holes in them and no tread. I mean, he doesn't care about that, but I'm just saying, how fast could we run? Well, neither of us can run, but how fast could we walk with... He at least has a pair of sneakers, but if we had to walk somehow in a faster pace to get away because the car had broken down, where would we walk to? How would we get there? I don't understand. I don't understand. All I understand, there is no greater pain than a mother seeing her child's heart hurting. His child not understanding something that's not a usual thing you expect. In fact, I asked a friend. I just asked her, didn't tell her what was going on, just said, when you first split up, and this is not like analogy to our situation, ours is different, but well, I guess she left him. So when you first left, did your husband, who was still a husband till you divorced him, right? Did he not talk to the kids? Was he taken out on the kids, his anger for you? Oh, no, on the contrary, she said, he was trying to find them. She took off and didn't even say where she went. He was trying to find them. That's a good dad. He knows where to find our son. But he didn't even a single word. And yes, Polly asked, what am I going to lie? He's old enough to say, if I said, yeah, here, he asked about you, and he'd want to see. What could I show him? Nothing. So there's dads that, even if the mom takes off and takes the kids, they, first thing on their agenda is not what happened, it's, where are my children? But this guy walks off, takes off, and needs a break. He said, a break. Again, it can't be from me. There's nothing between us. We are not a couple. There's nothing at all. He needed a break from his child. because I'm pretty sure a hoe told him to say such words, or the hoe got in his head. You know, my mom once said, if he gets away, as Polly's dad, or he takes off, or, whatever. I don't know how she knew this, because there were no signs he would ever do this when she was alive, but she must have had a sixth sense that I didn't have. If he ever gets away and someone gets in his head, it will be all over. And she was right. 2016, when he abandoned us, someone got in his head and he changed. And ever since, there's a difference. But again, I would never wish this awful pain on any child to be sitting and waiting for their dad. And never wish this pain on any mom to be sitting and waiting and wondering, why isn't your child's father contacting him? I don't understand. I just can't get that message out of my head. If you love me, Daddy, come and visit me. Come and see me. Thank you if you got this far. Be the reason someone smiles. Be kind to people. I can't finish with the intro. It's too hard. I was trying not to cry. I tried this video many times, but here it is. I'm sure a spy who watches my vlogs will tell him lies as they do. Why doesn't he just watch the video himself? Because he doesn't want to see me do anything in life. He wants me to lose my house and my demise to come. That would make him happy. But I guess I didn't realize getting away from his child, taking a break, would make him happy. No greater pain in a mother's heart than to hear such words and to have this ache in your heart for your child who doesn't understand. I don't understand. How could he understand? And he just waits and wonders. And thought he heard a knock and thought it was him. Obviously, he saw the lights. You can see the lights on the road, like if someone's going straight forward. Obviously, he's going from my box to look for some coupons for his fast food. That's all I can assume, because that's all that comes in my box are coupons to fast food, and we don't go out to fast food. I'm still here, sorry. I'm going to end it now, so hopefully it can load, because my internet's become slower. Huh. All of a sudden, I know people can change internets to slower speeds. I guess that would happen to me, because punishment enough was not to see my child hurt. We had to mess with the internet. Thanks if you got this far. Spread my channel. Please. Because as he was storming out of here, he said in no uncertain terms, "You better get a job. You're gonna need it." He knows there's no way I can work. So this has to be my work. So please spread my channel, share my channel, and say a prayer for us. Thanks again for being here on the other side, under this big blue sky. Thank you. Bye for now.